Welcome to another episode of 1000 Bodies Podcast. I'm your host, King Gerald Jones. Today is our third and final installment of my story about how I beat a three-strike case due to one of the bodies. Uh, you guys go watch part one, go watch part two. I'm not going to bring you up to speed. I might mention some things, but I want you guys to go check out part one and part two. For y'all that have been telling me about it, that you like it, thank you for your support. Thank you. If you look, and make sure you go to YouTube, subscribe, like, share, comment, but make sure you subscribe. I'm on all platforms: TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitch. Go make sure you subscribe. So we're going to get right into it. So this is part three, last and final installment of this story. So this girl had me fighting a three strikes case. If y'all remember, we're all the way up to when I'm in the county jail. Now, before I even get to the premise of me being falsely accused, her lying on me, saying that I said I was going to kill her, and all the things she said to the police to get me arrested, I want to first mention briefly the experience, because it wasn't me just being accused of a crime that I didn't commit, and it wasn't just her lying. I think I was also facing the fact that I'm in county jail. And you guys know, I'm sure you guys probably don't know, but I'm sure you guys heard of the different stories in the county jail, and believe them, they're true. So not only am I fighting for my freedom, but I'm in the county fighting, 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 and I'm fighting a charge, a crime that I didn't commit. So not only am I fighting, I'm fighting physically men in jail, and I'm missing my freedom. I'm missing my loved ones. I'm just missing time altogether. I think the worst punishment you could give somebody is to give them time, is to take time away, because you can't get that back. So not to mention am I missing time, but I'm missing time on a crime that I did not commit. So as I'm in the county fighting the case, I'm also going through the politics and the fighting, uh, black on black. I'm fighting in riots, and I'm going through all this mental fight. And so back to the story, knowing that I didn't do it, I called. I don't know if you guys didn't listen to part two, make sure you go listen to part two. But for those that did, remember the girl that I told you I was at the club with when I got arrested out of the club. I called her. I called her Colette, and she wasn't my girlfriend or anything, but we were dating at the time. So I called her, and my purpose for call, and she came to visit me actually one time when I was in the county, which was cool. And she was kind of asking me like, what do I want her to do? She was hinting that she was going to, stay down with me, and she was going to, you know, stay down with me. And all I kept thinking, uh, I was fighting a three-strike case, and I was going to spend I'm not going to say I thought I was going to spend the rest of my life, because I was fighting. I was genuinely fighting, but I knew I didn't want to hold her up, and I didn't want any distractions for myself. So I told her, just do your thing, just live your life. Because she did come to visit me once, and I told her, she don't have to come anymore. I appreciate her. I appreciated her support up to then, but I told her, just live your life, go on and do your thing. But I did ask her to do me a favor. So the favor that I asked her, I gave her the girl who accused me of this crime. I gave her number, and I said, can you please call her and like tell her like, what's up? Like, tell her to be honest, or, tell the truth, or, go down there and tell them people that I didn't do what she said, and so on and so forth. For you guys that didn't listen to part one and part two, I'm being accused of criminal threats in a residential burglary. The residential burglary being a felony inside of her dwelling. She said that I said I was going to kill her. So I'm telling my female friend that I was dating also at the time to go call her. And so after I talked to my female friend and asked her to do it, she said she'll do it for me. So fast forward, when I talked to her the next time, she told me that she had spoken with the girl that accused me of this heinous and false crime. So she tells me that the girl said that she was going to go to talk to the police and tell them that I didn't do it. So And it's crazy because I don't know. I believed it because I didn't do the crime. So I'm thinking, okay, well, maybe she, just go. So long story short, obviously, I told you the title is I'm fighting the three strikes case. Obviously, she didn't do that, but she did tell my lady friend that I was dating at the time that she was going to go tell them that I didn't do it and I didn't, and get me out. Fast forward, that never took place. She told my lady friend that, but she never went to clear my name, so to speak. And so I'm fighting the three strikes case. So the next thing that I want to bring to you guys' attention, not only am I fighting in the county and I'm fighting this case, now I was assigned a public defender. Now this is the trip about the public defender that I was assigned. Of course, he's not a paid attorney. So for anybody that don't know, a public defender is assigned to you on any case. They have such a large workload that they're not worried about you in the least bit. So I say that to say the whole time my public defender was trying to get me to take a deal for 25 years without the L. So, if I blow trial and I lose the case, I would get 25 years to life. So he's trying to tell me, and at the time I'm 24 years old. So he's trying to tell me, oh, you could take the deal and he's trying to genuinely get me to take this deal. Mind you, I don't know if he read through the case, probably not. Like I said, they have a tremendous workload. So the whole time he's trying to get me to take the deal. He's acting nonchalant. He's trying to get me to take the deal. And, I'm not about to take 25 years. He's talking about you're going to still be young when you get out. I'll be fit. Well, he said, if he tried to break it down to me, he said, if you take a 25-year deal, you only do 18 years. So 18 plus 24, he considered me still being young. So, but I wasn't going to do that or whatnot. So what ended up happening is I ended up firing him and I went pro pert. Pro pert is when you represent yourself. So I fired this attorney, this public defender, so I could represent myself. Now, my goal wasn't to represent myself through the trial, but my goal was to gain access to the law library so I could find out the law and the rules and what's going on with this particular case. And like I told you guys in part one and part two, or maybe part two, was I'm being charged for residential burglary, which is a strikeable offense, which will give me my third strike. And the crime, and I was thinking, let me let you guys know, residential burglary does not necessarily mean you're taking something or or doing a robbery in somebody's dwelling. It could also be any felony committed in somebody's dwelling. So the felony that she said, or the police said that I committed, was she told them that I said I was going to kill her. As you guys could listen to part two, I broke it all the way down. So she told them that I said I was going to kill her. So this is the felony. So back to the story, I go pro pert. I go pro pert to gain access to the law library so I could find out the laws, how I could beat it, what's going on with this law. Because I thought residential burglary was you stealing somebody stuff out their house. So I go pro pert. So the next thing I did when I went pro pert is I put a motion in when I went to court the next time. And so for the most part, I had court like maybe every 30 days and I didn't want to waive time. See, the waiving of the time, it pushes your trial back because you have a right to speedy trial. But if you waive 30 days, that's pushing it out. So I'm trying not to waive time because I want to hurry up and get out. So me just saying that right now, I was always confident that I was going to get out. I knew that I hadn't committed the crime, but I was also aware of the judicial system. I was aware of the police system. I was aware of her lies and what she said. So not me being confident that I was going to beat it was one thing, but I also was aware of what could happen. So going pro pert, like I said, to defend myself and learn the laws, I still was aware. Not scared, but aware. I knew what could possibly happen. So with that being said, when I went pro pert, I end up putting in a discovery motion. A discovery motion is when you get all the evidence that's against you. So I put in when I went to court after the 30 days, I put in a motion for discovery. So they end up giving me all the evidence that the state of California had against me. So and I wrote things down. That's why I'm looking in to make sure I don't mess up the story or mess up, miss anything in the story. So the evidence that they gave me first, before, I forgot to tell you guys this. While I did have the attorney, while I did have the public defender, he told me basically when it all boils down to it, it's going to be your word against hers, her story against yours. So are you credible? Keep in mind, I have crimes that I committed. So me getting on the stand, they're going to be able to bring those cases up and mention them, and then the jury will hear that versus her not having a criminal record. So he's warning me that, when you get on the stand, or if you get on the stand, that is going to be your word against hers, and you have priors, so you look a little worse than she does, or more dishonest than she does. So just keep that in mind, and I kept that in mind. So that was what he was saying. Bottom line is going to be your word against hers. So the evidence also that they had against me, I told you guys in part 1 or part 2, I don't remember, but make sure you go listen, was the 1/2-inch scratch on her arm. Now, for the people that listened before, remember she didn't have any more injuries, just a 1/2-inch scratch on her arm. And she had the 1/2-inch scratch on her arm because as she's hitting me, I grab her arm. She don't have bruises, no facial bruises, she don't even have multiple scratch. She just has 1/2-inch scratch on her arm, consistent with me holding her wrist from her hitting me. So keep that in mind as evidence. She have this 1/2-inch scratch. Also, they have a 911 tape. So now this is my first time as I'm getting the discovery while I'm going pro per and represent myself. I find out that there's a 911 tape. So I'm like, who called 911? I'm wondering, but you'll see when it comes. So 911 tape. Also, it just hurt. So keep in mind, I didn't say this in part 1. I did say this in part. Well, I didn't say this in part 1. So I'm reading her statement. So in her statement, and this is so crazy, in her statement, in the discovery, she told the police that I kicked in the door waving the fourth. Joke. I know, joke. But for the most part, she's saying I rushed in, threw her on the ground, was straddling her on the ground, grabbing her wrist, banging her head and her body on the ground. This was what she told the police. So as I'm reading this, of course, my attorney didn't tell me this at the time, but I'm reading this, I'm studying this, I'm researching this, and I'm like, how can I defend this lie? How can I defend what she's saying? Not only did she say I did these things, when the ambulance offered to give her medical attention, she said she didn't need it, but she told them that she had knots on the back of her head from me banging her body and her head on the ground while I'm holding her wrist. While I'm holding her wrist. So this is where we are with it with the evidence. So as I'm going pro per, I'm in the law library and I'm researching. So this is what I find out in the law library. I didn't, and it's crazy. Hindsight is 2020. At the time, I found this research and I'm studying and I'm trying to learn it, but I didn't know how it was going to help me in my case. I didn't know how it was going to help me beat it. But hindsight is 2020. I stayed pinpoint, and I even brought this because I hired my attorney later, but hired him back later. But I highlighted this, pinpointed, and was researching this. So, criminal threats. For somebody to say they're going to kill you, you have to be in fear of your life and you have to be in fear of your safety. So the girl said I was going to kill her. Because this is the thing. People joke all the time. People say things all the time. In order for a criminal threat to stick as a crime, that person has to believe that their life is in danger. They have to be in fear of their life and in fear of their safety. So, like I said, I can go joke with my friend and say, "Hey, I'm gonna kill you." He can't go to the police and say, he can't get me arrested unless he really feel that his life and safety is in danger. So keep that in mind. That was one of the key things that I found while I was researching, while I was going pro per and going to the law library. So where am I at with it now? So after I found that, I researched. That was for the most part all I could find, and pretty much figured out and researched that it's going to be my word against her word. It's going to be her word against my word. But I'm worried about my criminal record. But there's nothing you can do once you testify on your behalf on the stand, and I'm telling them like, "Hey, I didn't do this. I didn't do this." They're going to bring up your criminal record. So fast forward, boom, boom, boom. I end up rehiring my attorney. The first thing I bring to his attention is the criminal threats and what it means. And so I rehire him. Guess what? He's still trying to get me to take the deal. That's what he's on. So I'm about to go to trial and fight for my life against the state of California with a public defender who's trying to get me to take the deal, not informing me about the evidence or what I have going on. He's just trying to get me to take this deal. The thing is, I wasn't going to take the deal, one, because I knew I didn't do it. I knew I didn't do it. I knew I wasn't guilty. And if they did, because you know the judicial system, if they did find me guilty, I was just going to take that on the chin. But I knew in my heart, in my mind, that I didn't do it. So I was going to take it on the chin. Two, I was not about to give them that time. I was not about to give them that time. I don't think, I think, and that's what I told him. I remember, I remember we had it wasn't an argument because he didn't argue and I wasn't arguing. I just told him straight out, like, hey, I don't care if they offered me 1 year. I don't care if they offered me 1 month, even though I had been, mind you, I'm fighting this case from February all the way to July. So what's that, 6 months, 5 months? I'm not taking time served. I'm not taking 1 month. I'm not taking no deal because I knew I didn't do this. So that's what I told my attorney, my public defender. I said, man, I don't care if they offer me time served and I can get out today. That's not going on my record. I've never put my hand on no woman, let alone telling somebody that I'm a woman that I'm going to kill her. So he then understood, like, hey, like, we're really going to trial. So he kind of tried to threaten me, like, hey, we're going to trial, and your record, when you get on the stand and you tell them that you didn't do this, and they're going to bring up your record. So the whole time, not only am I fighting this case against the state, I'm fighting my public defender, fighting for my life, and I'm fighting in the county, as you guys should know and know. I'm fighting in the county. So it's mentally draining, but I just know that I have to keep going and I have to keep going forward. So where are we at with it now? So yeah, he threatened me with the trial, and we went to trial. He set the trial date. He set the trial date 30 days from whenever that last conversation was. So like I said, I'm not scared, and I'm just holding true that I knew I didn't do this. I didn't do this, man. I didn't do this stuff. So that's the only thing that's really keeping me going, is that I knew I didn't do it, and I don't want this on my record. I don't want to take nothing for this, and that this girl like really lied on me. So I'm just fighting it. That's the only thing to keep me going, because like I said, in the back of my mind, I know how the judicial system could be, and I know what I'm facing. So only thing that's keeping me going fighting this case is I knew I really didn't do it. So like I said, he set the trial date with the threat of getting life. But I said, yeah, we going to trial. So 30 days later from the last time I spoke to my attorney, fast forward, we're going through the voir dire process. The voir dire process is basically jury selection. So jury selection come around, and we select in the jury. Of course, they're not a jury of my peers, but I am satisfied with the picking of the jury, because they were, in fact, was multicultural. It was, I had blacks, I had whites, I had Hispanics, I even had Asians. So although they weren't my peers and they were a little older at the time, I was 24, and they were maybe, I think the young, well, I did see, well, they were older than me. So I still was satisfied that I at least got some people of my culture, my race, and also that it was even multicultural. Like there was women, there was men, there, like I said, Hispanics, blacks, whites, and Asians. So I was kind of cool with that versus I've heard other cases where, the whole jury would be, other way out of your culture. So I was satisfied with that in the voir dire process. So we selected the jury. We got the 12 jurors with 2 alternates. Fast forward, and now it's getting real and it's going fast for me. So I think we selected the jury on a Friday and had them everything locked in. So the following Monday we were going to go to trial. So the weekend, of course I'm what can I say? I'm anxious. I'm jittery. I'm anxious. Again, I know I didn't do it, but I also know what can happen. I know what I'm facing. I know the judicial system, and even from being in the county jail, I know people that have been found guilty for things they haven't done. I've known people that maybe have done things, but the punishment don't fit the crime, or so I just know how it can be. So I'm going through it. I'm going through trial. So where are we at with it now? So boom, boom, boom. So like I said, I was locked up in February. It is now July, and I'm fighting the case. So boom, fast forward. That Monday come, we go to trial. So the prosecutor, one last time, sends a deal to my attorney, sends him a note. He leans over to me, opens the note for 25 years. Do you believe the day of trial, as we're sitting in front of the jurors and we're about to present our case, or they're presenting their case for me to defend myself, and the prosecutor slides a deal? Do you know this man asked me, am I sure I don't want to take the deal? But I have to find some way to still be confident in beating this case. I'm solely dependent on the truth to come out. I don't know how, I don't know why, I don't know where. Oh, also, I forgot this to mention you guys to this thought. I forgot to mention this. Somewhere in my mind, in my heart, which is what's foolish, hindsight is 2020, which was foolish. I'm thinking, well, maybe she's not going to come. Maybe she's not going to come. Maybe she's going to tell because maybe she's going to have a realization like, hey, I lied on this man and he's really about to go to trial. So I'm also, believe it or not, I'm holding on to that. Like maybe she's going to be like, hey, he didn't do it. It was a whatever, however she want to do it, however she want to bring it out, or maybe just don't come. Don't hold your breath. I didn't know. I shouldn't have held my breath. Fast forward back to the story. He shows me the thing of the deal. I say, I'm good, man. Boom. Tuck it, whatever the hell he do with it. Judge come in, jury stand up, bang the gavel, court proceeding. Prosecutor calls old girl. She comes in. Boom. My heart dropped. My heart dropped. Of course I knew it's real. It's been real. Heart drop. She's walking down. Boom. Gets on the stand. I'm like, I got something else to tell you guys. Believe it or not, my 24-year-old naive mind is saying, well, maybe she's going to get on the stand and tell them I didn't do it. Still hopeful. Still hoping for the best outcome. Still hoping for the truth. Still hoping that this female tell the truth. Gets on the stand. The prosecutors start asking her questions. She's answering the questions and she's proceeding with the lie. So we're in trial and I'm fighting it. It's real. It's real. It's here. So as the prosecutor is asking her questions, she starts crying. She starts crying. So I look, wait, what did I do first? I look at as she's crying, giving her testimony, giving not all the testimony, but I forgot what particular question the attorney asked as she's crying. And I look over at the jury, and it looked like they about to cry. It looked like they about to cry too. Keep in mind, my attorney did tell me this. He said, make sure while we're in court that you're sitting up straight, you know, whatever he's saying, sitting up straight. I forgot what other things, but basically sitting up straight and attentive, whatever he was saying. So when I looked at her, seen her crying, and I looked at the jury, I couldn't help it. I just put my head on the desk. I just put my head on the desk because never before that time, that day, did I really think that I might lose. But right then, I was like, shit, it's real. It's real. It's really real. Like you fighting a 3-strike case, and she up there saying you did it, lying and crying about it. And the jury looked like they crying with her. So I put my head down. I just put my head on the desk. I felt like I was about to cry. So boom, they asking the questions, the questioning go on for maybe 30 minutes or whatnot. So she's testifying. She's telling them, like I said, she's crying. Oh my! I forgot to tell y'all this part. This is crazy. 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 What I'm about to say. It was crazy to hear. So the attorney asked her something about like, what did I say? One of the things I said. Wait, what she said? She said, I said, this is crazy. This sounds like something out of a movie. She said that I said, you can't see me, like the Tupac song, like you can't see me. She said I was on top of her banging and saying, you can't see me. These niggas can't see me. She said that I said this like a movie. You can't see me. So the prosecutor asked her more questions, and at the point, so what part is? Oh, she said also that I said, wait, I forgot when she said that I said it particularly, but at some point in her story, I said that I was going to kill her. So they said after he was banging your body and your head on the ground, and he got up. What did I get up for? I don't know. I got up. What? Oh, they said, and that would be the consistency with the half inch scratch. And I'm holding her down, straddled on top of her, banging, holding her arms. She said, they asked her, is he grabbing any? No, he's not grabbing my clothes. He's not grabbing my neck. He's not grabbing my hair. The prosecutor asked her all this. He just has his hands on my wrist. She's trying to keep the lie consistent with the half inch scratch. So she's saying, I strictly have my hand on her wrist, lifting her up and down, banging her head and body on the ground. So was that at the point that my lawyer tapped me? So my lawyer tapped me, and he looked at me, and then he started paying attention again. I don't get it. I don't know. Hindsight is 2020. But when he does that, I don't know what he sees. I don't know what he hear. I don't know but he taps me. I don't know. I'm oblivious to what he got going on. But I knew he tapped me. Like, okay. So then the prosecutor asked her, so what did you do when he got up? She said, I got up and I followed him, and he left. And they said, what did you do? She said, I went outside of my door. I walked down the porch and I'm hollering at him. She says she's cursing me out, and she's saying, you're going to go to jail. You're going to go to fucking jail. So she's behind me saying, you're going to go to jail. So I left out her house, past her porch, going down the steps, and she's following me. They said, how far did you go down the steps? They said she went halfway down the steps. My lawyer taps me again. So they finished questioning her. The prosecutor finished questioning her. And I see him, I don't see, he's writing in chicken scratch. So I don't see exactly, I'm trying to look, but he's writing something. He's writing, and I could tell, even if I didn't know what his energy was different. His energy was different from from February to July. His energy has always been nonchalant. You need to take this deal, whatever. But now when he tapped me, he's excited. He's like for reference, he's an old white man, old fat white man. I forgot his name. Never mind. I'm not about to say his name. But his energy shifted right then. In those two times he tapped my leg or tapped me. So the prosecution finished asking her questions. She's giving the, oh, woe is me. Like I said, what else is she saying? She just telling them the utmost lies about what I did to her. So, like I said, my attorney energy has shifted. He's writing something down in chicken scratch, tap my legs, whatever. I don't know what's going on. The prosecutor rests his case, and the judge say, "Do you want to cross-examine?" My attorney says, can I please have a recess?" The judge said, "Well," and I don't know the judicial order or laws or when they go to recess or lunch or whatever. The the judge was kind of reluctant, and then he said, and whatever he said, he's talking. So the judge said, "Okay, well, I'll grant a recess, you guys." He said, "How long you need?" He said, 15 minutes. So he looks over to me, he said, "Gerald, meet me in the back." So we have, of course, well, not of course, you guys might not know. So when we talk to our attorneys in the back, or whether it's at the county, you're talking to them behind the glass. So basically he's signaling or telling me to talk to him in the back while I'll be behind the glass, and he's going to come talk to me like we interview. So the judge granted the recess, said he needs 15 minutes. So he comes around. What's I'm going to say next, it was relieving. It was relieving. It was a stress reliever. It was refreshing, but it still was kind of sad. Like it, anyway. So boom, I go in. The deputies, whatever, the sheriff, they take me into the room where I'm behind the glass. So my attorney comes with his file. He didn't slam me. He slaps the file down, and he says, "You didn't do it, huh?" From February to July, he finally says, "You didn't do it." He says, "I think we can beat it." From February to July, this man has never said we can beat it. He has not tried to fight it or give me any kind of clue of us beating it. But hearing her testimony, I'm about to tell you, but he all of a sudden says, "You didn't do it, and I think we can beat it." Like I said, it's refreshing, but it's still sad and messed up. So I'm like, I didn't do it. I've been telling you. That's why I not even consider your deal, let alone told you I'm not taking the deal for 1 day, 1 week, 1 month, time server, nothing. So he says, "Okay, Mr. Jones," he said, "remember what you told me about being in fear of your safety in your life." He says, "In order for her to be in fear of her safety in life, when you left out her house after doing what she said you did to her, if you really did those things to her and she was in fear of her safety in life, she, as soon as you walked out the door, she would have locked it, closed it, and called the police." Oh, I forgot to tell you guys, she did say she called the police after she went halfway down the steps, came back in and called the police. Just remember that, because I'm going to tell you guys about the 911 tape. So he says she has to be in fear of her life. For her to come outside hollering at you, cursing you out, saying you're going back to jail, bypass the front door, bypass the porch, and come halfway down the stairs as she testified, she's really not in fear of her safety of life. I said, I might have called that man a bro. Bro, I told you I didn't do it. I told you I didn't do it. I didn't do this stuff, man. I told you I didn't do it. So he said, another thing. So I remember when I told you I went pro pert and I found out. So this is how we're going to understand. Anybody could say you did anything, or not anything, but threatened them. But they have to be genuinely in fear of their safety in their life. She's obviously not in fear of you. So he also says now the physical attack that she's claiming. She said, "You've always had your arm on her wrist." She says, in order for you to be banging her head and her body, she has to clench up. So he said, I said, "Bro, it was not bro, but it was never a time on the ground. There was never this on the ground time." So he said, "I get it." I said, "She's lying." He said, you can't possibly bang her head and body on the ground on top of her unless she's tensing up. And that's still kind of like crazy. Like, you would have to be holding her clothes, her shoulders, her hair, her head, her neck or something, but she's trying to stay consistent with her lie, and she's focused on this half-inch scratch on her arm, which she got from me holding her arm from her hitting me. So he told me those 2 points. He said, those 2 points alone, we're going to beat this case. I'm going to make sure I exploit it. I'm going to make sure I bring it up. When you get on the stand, just tell them, what you're going to tell them, whatever. Fast forward 15 minutes past, we're back in the courtroom. He cross-examines her. He did a great job. He didn't, well, I might as well say he did a great job, but I don't know. I'm not an attorney, but he brought out those points. He brought out those points to the jury. Now, at first, as I'm looking at the jury, they looking like, burn him to the stake, take him down. It's over. They trying to take me under. They trying to do. I'm seeing it in their eyes. How could you do this to this beautiful young lady? So, do I want to give any context? So, context on the race. Context on race. She's Hispanic and black. She's black and Hispanic, mixed Hispanic black, and she's with the black culture, I guess. But she's with the black culture, but she's nonetheless Hispanic and black. So he cross-examined her, and he brings all those points out. So I can see the jury's energy shift, and they're looking at me, and they're not looking at me like you're not guilty, but now it's a question. Now the question is there. At first it was, it's over. I can't wait till he's going down. He did it. But now I can see the question in their face. So they're looking at me. Now I could tell they're kind of like analyzing my mannerisms now. Like, is he this person? Cool. He's creating the doubt, the reasonable doubt. So he cross-examined her, and he does a great job. He does a good job. I don't know. Maybe I thought it should have, but he did what he was supposed to do. Fast forward. Now the prosecutor calls me to the stand. Keep in mind, I have to tell them my crimes from priors. I'm on the stand. The prosecutor asks you, did you do this? Did you do that? Did you commit this crime in this year? Did you do that this year? All the way down from when I was a kid to present. Did you do this? Did you do this? Did you rob this? Did you burglarize this? Did you have this? Did you do that? So, and I'm answering. He told me, just tell the truth. So I'm like, yes, I did that. I robbed that. I burglarized that. I did that. I did that. I had that gun. I did this. I did that. Telling them that I did what I did. But never is it anything for, is this considered spousal abuse, or hitting a woman, or putting my hands on a woman, or threatening to kill a woman. So prosecutor asked me all of that. We go through my priors. I tell him, yes, I did it. I did it. So now the prosecutor is asking me about the events that took place with the girl. And the question is kind of going the same, because I'm telling them, she's like, well, what did you do when you was on the ground? I said, there was never on the ground. Why did you say this? I never said that. So it was kind of redundant. She's asking me the questions, and I'm trying to tell her like there was. So the jury is, and I'm being, respectful, but I'm also being assertive and telling her like there was never that. We're here. I think I even said we're here on a lie. We're here because she lied. So they're listening. And again, I can see the energy shift. And it's not an energy shift of, oh, he's not guilty now, but it's just the question, the doubt is there. So she finished questioning me, told her that didn't happen, this didn't happen, that didn't happen, this was not said, that was not said, there was never no this. So then she say, what happened after I left out the apartment? So I told her the same thing that the girl said. Like, yeah, she was behind me cursing and said, I'm going to jail. I'm going back to jail. Your ass going to jail. Said, yeah, she came halfway down the stairs. Boom. They said, play the 911 tape. I didn't know who the 911. So they cue up the recording and whatever, put the disc in, bam. They play the 911 tape. I will say this. This girl, what did they call it? This girl should have won an Oscar for this vocal performance she performed on this 911 tape. So I'm listening to the 911 tape and they play. She's stuttering. I was just attacked. The energy was so different from when I walked out the apartment and she followed me, cursing me out, and halfway down the stairs. Now she seems like a wounded animal. She's crazy to hear the tape, from seeing how aggressive she was to the lies she tried to portray. And I hope I hope she watching this. I hope somebody, because anyway, I almost lost it. The 911 tape was crazy to hear. It was crazy to hear. I don't do voices. I don't do imitation with, but it was sad. It was sad. Fast forward. They played the 911 tape. The prosecutor say, Gerald, what was that? A lie? A lie. Well, she seems visibly not. Well, the officer said she was visibly. She seems shaken. I said she's lying. She's lying. Prosecutor rests the case. Prosecutor rests the case. The judge now gives the jury instructions. No, closing arguments. They did closing arguments. Closing arguments. I forgot. So the prosecutor is trying to say how I did this, but then in the closing arguments, my public defender did a good job again in pinpointing the physical thing that she said I did that is impossible to do, and also her really not being in fear of her life and in fear of her safety or her life. So fast forward, they're giving jury instructions. They go back. Boom. I'm sitting in. I go back and I'm in a cell and I'm waiting. What do I think? What do I think? I don't think nothing. I'm just hoping that they got what they needed to get, and I'm hoping it's over quick. They go the whole day. Forgot to tell you this trial took 2 days. So that's Monday and Tuesday. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So Monday finished on Tuesday. They deliberated for the rest of the day. Wednesday, we come back. And I'm sitting in the cell all day. Cold cell all day on Wednesday. Sitting in the cold cell all day Wednesday, they deliberate. They deliberate all of Wednesday. So we did the trial Monday, trial half day on Tuesday. They started deliberating Tuesday afternoon. Going into Wednesday, they deliberate Wednesday. All of Wednesday. So I'm sitting in the cold cell by myself all Wednesday. Thursday, so I go back to the county. All my the people in the county, the cells, everybody like, "What's up, G? What's up, G? You." Everybody know I'm going to trial. What's up, G? What's up? And I'm looking beat. I'm looking because I'm getting up. I don't know. Well, you guys don't know, but I'll tell you guys. So when you go into trial, when you go into court, you get up early in the morning and then you come late back on the last bus. So I'm getting up early in the morning, going to sleep, probably sleeping for 3 hours, then getting up, going back, whatever, so on and forth. So everybody knows I'm going to trial. They're like, "Gee, what's up? What's up? You beat it? What's going on with it?" Boom. Thursday comes. Thursday comes. Go to court there. Boom. I say about 10, I'm there in the morning, maybe 9 to start. They start deliberating again. About 11, they call me in there. I'm nervous. The deputy comes like, Jones, we're going in the courtroom. I was like, did they find a verdict? They have a verdict? Nervous, scared, spooky, crazy, hilarious, whatever that man say. Scary, spooky, hilarious. Ain't nothing hilarious about it. So the sheriff tell me they don't have a verdict, but they need you in the courtroom. Boom, I get in the courtroom. Judge say, what's going on? What's the problem? What's taking so long? What is the at this time is 9 not guilty, 3 guilty. But the judge say, I don't want a hung jury. This is a clear case. If you guys have any questions, ask me the questions, because this is a clear case. 9 is not guilty. There's 3 people still trying to find me guilty after hearing the testimony, after hearing the lies, after hearing what I had to say, just because. Maybe because of my priors, maybe because I'm black. Just because we still have 3 people trying to take me down after hearing this. That's why I said the judicial system is tricky, and I understand that. So you might want to stay out of it. Back to the story. Just say you guys need to go back in there and you guys need to find a verdict. This is not a hung jury. You guys go, boom. I go back in a cell, cold cell. I feel better, but I think I'm gonna get a hung jury, because how did you hear all of that, this evidence and the lie, and still try to take me down, still try to find me guilty? So I'm thinking hung jury, and maybe next time, we prepared, so we know, this is how we gonna get her in her lie. I'm in there for maybe 15 to 30 minutes, whatever. Mr. Jones, we're going back in the courtroom. They have a verdict. Boom. Come in there. All rise. Judge come in there. Boom. Sit down. He addresses the jury. Do you guys have a verdict? Boom. They're finding charges: residential burglary and criminal threats. 2 charges. In the charge, so boom, they bailiff read the verdict. Oh no, excuse me. I remember this. They passed the paper to the judge. The judge opened the paper. He looks at me, glasses, close it back, swerves it over to the whatever, read the verdict. In the charges of criminal threats, Mr. Jones has been found not guilty. Not guilty for criminal threats. Now, if I don't have a criminal threats, you can't give me residential burglary. In the charge of residential burglary, Mr. Jones has been found not guilty. Not guilty. Not guilty for both charges. I think to that date, that was the most important day of my life at that date, at that time. So I look over at the jury and I tell them, thank you. I don't know who the 3 was. I don't know who the 3 idiots was, but, I say thank you. And I really felt that I had a second chance on life. I really felt that, it could have been over, but I got found not guilty. And that's how I almost got locked behind bars for life behind a female. And the irony of all of this is, I almost said the date. The day that I got found not guilty was on a Thursday, and it was her birthday. Thousand Bodies Podcast, go subscribe.